Okay, let's take you back to our top story this hour. Members of Parliament are preparing to debate tomorrow whether to adopt the Section 89 panel report on the Phala Phala Farm saga. Now, ahead of the National Assembly debate, the National Executive Committee of the governing party is meeting this afternoon at Nasrec in Soweto to iron out the next steps for ANC President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa. The president has been recused from this NEC meeting. Watching developments there, tracking them for us this afternoon is our senior reporter, Spamandla Goke. Mfokangcome, good afternoon. Welcome to today, and thank you very much for your time. Just a general question first. Where are we at this stage? What's the latest you can share with us? What's happening there? Are they still in the meeting?
They've just resumed the meeting after their lunch break. They are going to continue at least for a couple of hours. There is no indication when are they likely to wrap up this meeting, but they are busy debating and discussing the report of the National Working Committee meeting, which resolved yesterday that members of the ANC in Parliament, when the time comes to vote tomorrow, they must vote against the adoption of the Section 89 panel report, which found that ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa may have a case to answer. Most importantly, two members of the NEC and NWC who are inside the meeting that is underway is Phemi Majodina as well as Nosviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, who has written to the ATM turning down their request that voting must be done through or via secret ballot. So ANC members of the caucus in Parliament will get their marching orders after this meeting, and those two key ANC members and deployees, I'm talking about Phemi Majodina as well as Nosviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, are inside the meeting listening to the debate. This meeting is a do or die for ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa. It will determine his political future and fate. If the meeting resolves that he must go, it shall be so. If the meeting resolves that he's going nowhere, he will remain the president of the governing party. Tomorrow, parliamentary processes will kick in. The report is meant to be presented, debated in Parliament. Therefore, the majority of members of Parliament will decide what happens with that report. So that's where we are at the moment, while we are waiting for the confirmation that ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa would have filed his application to challenge or to review the Section 89 panel report, because his legal team was busy with the papers. They intend to approach the court because they are seeking a review. They will apply for that review because they believe that the report is flawed.
So they believe that the report is flawed. Therefore, the strategy is going to be to oppose it in Parliament. There'll be no secret ballot voting. Then the numbers will count, and the governing party has got the majority of the seats there. Are you picking up that the ANC is closing ranks on this one, like they pretty much did during the eNCA saga of the former president, Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma?
That's the sense you get, but also you get a sense that there are some NEC members who have openly said that this is untenable, unsustainable. President Ramaphosa is delaying the inevitable. The ANC will be hurt. They are urging the president to do the right thing and assist the movement by resigning. His political allies are closing ranks and saying, hang on, you cannot ask the president of the ANC to resign over this report, which they allege that is flawed. They are saying you don't want to cause a crisis within the governing party. On the eve of the elective conference, you have the president resigning. Hence, they are employing a strategy which says, let's go to Parliament, let's vote against the adoption of this report. When we come back, let's deal with the matter politically while the president deals with it legally, so as he's seeking to apply to review and to challenge it in court. Let's go to the National Congress of the ANC, have him re-elected. After he's been re-elected, then maybe next year it will be up to him to decide whether to resign or not. If he decides to resign, the political strategy and scenario that is being put forward by his political allies is that whoever would have been elected his deputy will then take over as the president of the republic, while President Cyril Ramaphosa of the ANC stays at Luthuli House. In that way, he will have political power at Luthuli House, which they call the center, and also have his deputy running the affairs of the state. That's their strategy for now, but they are pinning their hopes on three things: It's this application to review this report. It's also to vote against the adoption of the report in Parliament. And the third option is the political one, which is to buy time, go to the conference, win the conference, and decide what happens afterwards. Earlier on, President Cyril Ramaphosa of the eNCA attended the meeting, briefly addressed, and he asked to be recused. Pulemabe explains why is that so.
The release of the Section 89 report has attracted great public interest as it relates to the future of the African National Congress and its leader in the person of the President. We can assure you that it is capable of managing all of this. We have done so in the past, and we are going to do so now. When we emerge out of this NEC, the Treasurer General would outline what is the position of the ANC to assure the citizens of this country that the ANC is still very much alive, and to outline and direct what our members of Parliament are expected to do next year, tomorrow when they go to the National Assembly. So the President again asked to be recused. The NEC has accepted that recusal. He has been recused.
Yeah, we see the heavy rain falling over Nasrec there in Soweto, Ngome. It's also been raining this side of town in Hyde Park with some hailstones as well. Just one wonders, is this a blessing for the ANC, or is this a sign of dark clouds that, ominously are still hanging over it? When can we expect a conclusion of this meeting today of the NEC? The reason I'm asking is the majority of the members of the NEC are also MPs. And they're going to have some of them, or many of all of them, have to make it to Cape Town for tomorrow's parliamentary debate.
Before I answer that, let me tell you that it doesn't matter how you look at it. This rain and this hailstorm and thundering simply means one thing, that a significant decision will be taken here today. Whether that is in favor of ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa or against him, either way, NEC will have to, or rather ANC-NEC meeting will have to take a decision that will not only affect the ANC, it will also affect the people of South Africa, as the ANC is the governing party. We expect that the meeting will wrap up by the end of business today. I'm not sure when. We expect that a couple of hours from now, the ANC is mindful of the fact that they are running out of time. The Speaker of the National Assembly is here. She has to go to Cape Town. ANC caucus members are here. They have to go to Cape Town. The parliamentary process cannot be put on hold because of a party political meeting. So they are running against time to travel to Cape Town for that important sitting tomorrow, which will debate and resolve on this Section 89 panel report. We expect that ANC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile will brief members of the media today about the outcome of the meeting. But previous meetings that were deciding the fates of previous presidents, including former President Mbeki, who is inside that meeting, as well as former President Jacob Zuma, went all the way till the early hours of the morning. Former President Mbeki's meeting, if I'm not mistaken, up until 3 o'clock. Former President Jacob Zuma's NEC meeting up until 4 a.m. ANC-NEC is hopeful that this one will have to be wrapped up before 7 p.m. at least, according to their time frames and deadlines.
Thank you very much, Pamandla Goke, at a very wet Nasrec in Soweto this afternoon, the venue of the National Executive Committee meeting of the governing party, the African National Congress. We'll keep on tracking, of course, developments there as we await what the NEC will resolve. We expect and anticipate, as usual, there would be a media briefing later today, and I'm sure we'll bring it to you live here on eNCA, if and when it happens later today.